I've been incredibly fortunate these past 4 years to work at an institution that was the right fit for me from day one. Today, I want to share how I chose this job and how it became the gift that keeps on giving, and how you can achieve the same. So, in this institution, I've been led by outstanding leaders and trusted with opportunities to lead as well. Though I've been here just 4 years, I've held multiple roles. I started as a hospitalist, served as the medical director of palliative care, and transitioned into the outpatient internal medicine role. And now I'm stepping into a new chapter of my life. At the time of the recording of this episode, I'm just about 3 weeks from relocating to Dubai. If you listen to the end, you will hear how I navigated from one department to another when life threw me a curveball in this my perfect job. I am your negotiation coach, Dr. Gloria Esoimeme. I am board certified in internal medicine. I hold a master's in global health and a PhD in health services policy and management. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through how to identify the right job, one with real potential for growth and lasting satisfaction. And just as important, I'll show you how to position yourself to get the most out of that opportunity. But before we dive into identifying the right fit, let's get one thing straight. There are two sides to this coin. Yes, the institution matters. It needs to be a place that supports and enables your growth. But just as crucial is you, your mindset, your drive, your readiness to grow. Because if you're not showing up as the right kind of employee, even the most fertile ground would not produce results. It takes two to tango, and sometimes the problem isn't the job. It's more the perspective we bring to it. So in the last episode, I shared my experience interviewing at 3 different hospitals and how spotting red flags helped me avoid the wrong fit. Now let's flip the script. In this episode, I'll walk you through the interview process that led me to the right institution, where I've gained what feels like 9 years of experience in just 4. So with most physician contracts set at 3 years, that kind of growth is anything but typical. But there's an interesting twist in the middle of the story. So let's go back to the interview process. So once I outlined my non-negotiables, including my baseline salary, I reached out to the recruiter in this hospital. She responded quickly and walked me through a clear timeline from the interview to the contract to my potential start date. So it set realistic expectations from the very beginning. At no point was I left guessing where I stood in the process. In fact, I missed their initial offer letter, but the follow-up just to ensure I had received it. That kind of follow through spoke volumes. So once we confirmed, so I'll just go back to the beginning so you can follow the story. So once we confirmed my interview dates, they handled the logistics. They sent my hotel reservation. They wanted to know if I was going to be flying or driving, and they provided a detailed itinerary for the day. The day of my interview, it kicked off with breakfast at a local restaurant, and right away I saw their thoughtfulness in action. I'm Nigerian. They invited another Nigerian doctor to join us just simply because they knew I was Nigerian. That was a green flag for me. And that doctor, she is one of my closest friends today. So later on, I met members of the internal medicine team. There was easy, friendly banter. People moved in and out of the room casually, and everyone looked genuinely relaxed. When I interviewed with the director, she asked thoughtful questions that showed she genuinely wanted to understand me and determine if I was a good fit for the team. And then I met the CEO of the physician group. Warm, charming, and just impossible to forget. So we talked about how I could join the university faculty affiliated with the hospital. He then asked what I like to do for fun, and he remembered months later when I came on board. And after that, I met with the benefits team. It was a well-oiled machine from start to finish. And to top it all off, they arranged someone to take me around town to explore potential neighborhoods to live in. So by the end of the day, I knew if I was given the offer, I was going to accept it. I got the offer, obviously, and I did accept it. That was 4 years ago, and I'm still grateful I said yes. So here are some clear green flags I took away from that experience. Signs that told me this job wasn't just a good fit for me, it was the right one. So the first was the clear communication. That was a green flag. The recruiter set expectations from the start and followed through every step of the way. So that level of clarity signaled professionalism and respect for my time. There was no guesswork, just timely updates, a clear timeline, and even follow up when I missed the offer letter. Getting the booking the hotel, asking for travel options. It told me they were organized and detail oriented. Then number two was cultural awareness and personal connection. So just having a Nigerian doctor join me for breakfast, it wasn't just thoughtful, it was intentional. It showed cultural sensitivity and emotional intelligence. It also created a personal connection that still exists till today. So when a workplace honors your identity even before you sign a contract, I'll take note. Number three, the environment speaks before anyone does. You can tell a lot about a place from how people behave when they're not in presentation mode. When I saw laughter, comfort, and ease, people walking in and out of rooms, speaking freely, it was the kind of environment where psychological safety wasn't preached, it was lived. And then the leadership that listens. Remember the CEO asked what I like to do for fun. I thought it was a nice touch, but when he remembered it months later, I realized it was not more. It was more than charm. It was leadership with intention. That kind of genuine interest builds trust and loyalty. And then number five, where support goes beyond your job title. So having someone show me around town and explore housing options wasn't really necessary, but it spoke volumes. They weren't just recruiting an employee, they were welcoming a whole person. So by the end of that day, I already knew I was going to say yes. And I've come to believe that that kind of clarity and peace is gold standard when you're interviewing for any job. So let me pause here and give a quick disclaimer. There is no perfect workplace. Every job comes with its trade-offs. You weigh the pros and the cons, and then you decide what you're willing to live with and what you're not. And so when I first started, I worked as a hospitalist for about a year. I loved the clinical side, but I didn't love giving up my weekends. That lack of balance started to wear on me. So when I heard the role of medical director of palliative care had opened up, I went for it and I got it. It was Monday to Friday, all weekends and holidays off. On paper, it was perfect. And honestly, I loved the job. It was deeply meaningful. I was walking patients and families through some of life's most difficult moments. But it was heavy. I talked about death and dying every single day. And I wanted to create some emotional balance. So I have a PhD. So I introduced research projects. I reached out to communities and universities. But just to create something creative, something hopeful. But the leadership in that department wasn't quite ready for that kind of growth or that kind of shift. So I made a difficult decision to resign. It broke my heart because I truly enjoyed caring for my patients. Our morning huddles with the staff was just so warm and so engaging. And I just loved being a part of the hospital community. But deep down, I knew I had to do it for me. I had to do it for my mental health. Then came a turning point. Remember the warm and charismatic CEO I mentioned earlier? So he called a meeting with his team and asked if I was open to staying in the system, just in a different role. And that's when I realized the issue wasn't the health system, it was just that particular department. I still believed in the organization, so I said yes. So they offered me a different role, and they offered me the position as an internal medicine physician in the outpatient setting. And to sweeten the deal, the schedule was Monday through Thursday, my weekends and holidays off. But I took it a step further. I negotiated to work just 3 days a week while keeping full-time benefits, and they agreed. That kind of flexibility is rare, and it spoke volumes about how much they valued me. The outpatient opportunity turned out to be one of the best career decisions I've ever made. I thrived. The clinic was incredible. The department head was the kindest, most supportive leader I've ever worked with. I was invited to join the advisory board, and from there, doors opened statewide and even international opportunities followed. While the institution was clearly built for growth, I didn't just benefit from that. I earned the favor I enjoyed through intentional actions. One, hard work and competence. In every role I've held, I've never been labeled lazy or incompetent. Even though I had formal training in palliative care, even though I wasn't board certified in palliative care, I made it a point to seek additional education, mentorship, and hands on experience. I asked for training to deliver the best care possible, and they supported me. I invested time attending CME courses and conferences and building the skills that set me apart. And the second is to openly praise leadership. If management does something right, don't hesitate to acknowledge it. I openly praise my hospital administration. Anyone who knows me can attest that I love my job and my employer. Some might think that it sounds crazy, but it worked. Just remember that behind every institution is a group of people with emotions. So when leadership senses your genuine appreciation, they are more likely to respond in kind. That doesn't mean blind loyalty. Criticism is necessary, but it must be strategic and tactful. Bad mouthing your boss or spreading negativity only damages your standing, especially since you never know who has connections or how your words might be twisted. And then, number three, be supportive of the mission. Align yourself with your organization's core mission. If the goal is profit, find ways to contribute to that. If it's exceptional patient care or outstanding customer service, make those your guiding principles. When you champion the mission, you position yourself as an essential part of the team's success. If you're ready to find a place where you don't just survive but thrive, start by defining your non-negotiables and recognizing the green flags during your job search. Take charge of your career growth by showing up as the right employee. Hardworking, supportive, and strategic. So remember, the right job is a partnership between you and the organization. So ask yourself, are you ready to claim the career and work environment you deserve? If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, share with your network, and leave a review. You can also ask questions or leave a comment and I may feature your comment or your question in another episode. I believe you were born with the potential to be great. Your career journey matters, and I'm here to help you every step of the way. Be great. Thank you.